USB file and folder format. Insert the USB stick into the computer. After inserting the USB stick, this window should pop up. Click Open Folder to view files. Inside the USB stick, you should see a folder called Compaq. Double-click on the folder to open it. For the USB stick to work correctly, you must have the files and folders in the shown structure. The Cards folder is where the Cards file is stored and the Cards user file is stored. The Price folder is where the price schedule is stored. The Transactions folder is where the transactions files will be stored. The USB user manual is stored in this folder here. This document explains how to use the post-process application. This is a link to a video on how to use the USB equipment. This is the TeamViewer application. It will allow the help desk to remote into your PC when you have problems with using the USB equipment. This is the USB key file. It enables this USB stick to work with your browser. It is very important that it is kept in the Compaq folder, otherwise the browser will display unsecure USB. This is the Transaction Join program. It joins the owner details fields in the card file to the transactions file. Let's start by looking at the Cards folder. Double-click on the Cards folder to open it. Inside this folder, you will find three files: the cards.csv file, the cardusers.csv file, and a log file. Open the cards.csv file by double-clicking on it. The first column is labeled card_num. This is the card number of the card. For this example, we will use card number 1. The next column is labeled valid. This column decides if the card is allowed or not allowed. To make our card able to take fuel, we must set it to true. If you wanted to stop the card from being able to take fuel, you would set it to false. The next column is labeled select_pin. This column is for if you wish to have a pin assigned to the card. We will set the pin number to 1, 2, 3, 4. If you didn't wish to have a pin number, you would leave the cell empty. The next two columns are to do with card totals. The browser displays the total number of liters it has dispensed for that card. This cell is to overwrite the current total for the card. We will enter the total liter amount of 400. To tell the browser to overwrite, you must enter true in the RT overwrite cell. To save the file, click File and then Save. After clicking Save, the following dialog box will open. Click Yes to keep the file as a CSV. Then you can close Excel. When prompted if you wish to save, click Don't Save. Next, let's look at the cardusers.csv file. This file contains a list of ID numbers. ID numbers are used to track who used a card in the browser. Start by double-clicking on the cardusers.csv file to open it. The first column is labeled user_ID. This is the number that the user will enter to identify the user that uses the browser. For example, we will use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next column is labeled valid. This column decides if the user ID number is allowed or not allowed. To make the user ID able to take fuel, we must set it to true. If you wanted to stop the user ID from being able to take fuel, you would set it to false. To save the file, click File and then Save. After clicking Save, the following dialog box will open. Click Yes to keep the file as a CSV. Then you can close Excel. When prompted if you wish to save, click Don't Save. If you want to change the price, you will need to edit the price schedule.csv file. This is located in the Compaq and then the Price folder. Double-click on the price schedule.csv file to open the file. When you receive the USB stick, the price schedule.csv should be set up with the products in your browser.
The first column is labeled product underscore code. This is the number of the product loaded in the browser. It must be correct or the price will not change. The next column is labeled product underscore price. This is where you enter the price of the product. By default, the price is set to $1. For this example, we will set the price to 1.234. The next column is labeled product underscore name. This is the name given to the product. It is useful when there are multiple products used on the browser. By default, this is set to Diesel. To save the file, click File and then Save. After clicking Save, the following dialog box will open. Click Yes to keep the file as a CSV. Then you can close Excel. When prompted if you wish to save, click Don't Save.